Welcome back to the deep dive. I have to tell you, today feels a little different. Usually, I come into the studio just buzzing with energy because I've just devoured a stack of articles or a new book, and I just can't wait to spill everything I've learned.
Right.
I'm usually operating on this learner's high.
Oh, yeah, that feeling. It's the best. It's why we do this.
It is, exactly. But today, looking at this stack you've prepared for us, I feel conflicted.
Conflicted.
Actually, conflicted is too polite. I feel a little bit betrayed.
Betrayed. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because we are a show for learners.
Yeah.
People listen to us because they want to know more. They want to optimize their information intake.
Of course.
And yet, this deep dive is arguing for something that feels like a crime against intelligence.
It really is the ultimate irony, isn't it?
It is.
We're using a medium entirely built on words podcasting to explore the profound and frankly somewhat terrifying benefits of stopping the consumption of words entirely.
We were talking about reading deprivation. And I have to be honest, when I first saw that title in our shared folder, my immediate reaction was just a hard no.
I'm not surprised.
I thought, okay, surely this is clickbait. Because for me, and I assume for you, for everyone listening, reading is a virtue. It's the one thing we're told we can't do enough of. To tell a learner to stop reading feels like, I don't know, telling a chef to stop tasting food.
Or marathon runners to stop moving. Yeah.
Right. It feels like a punishment.
And that visceral reaction you're describing, that defensive crouch.
Yeah.
That is exactly why we need to talk about this. In our culture, specifically in this knowledge economy we all live in, consuming information is seen as an unalloyed good.
Right. It's productive.
It is productive. It's how we grow. So naturally, the idea of stripping that away feels like a regression. It feels like we're advocating for, ignorance.
Exactly. I don't want to be the guy at the dinner party who has no idea what's going on in the world. Ignorance isn't bliss. It's embarrassing.
But, and here's where it gets really fascinating. The source material suggests that this isn't about embracing ignorance at all.
Okay.
It's about a system reset.
A system reset.
Yeah. Think of it less like starving yourself and more like a fast.
Yeah.
If you eat the healthiest food in the world, kale, quinoa, salmon, but you eat it nonstop, 24 hours a day, never giving your digestive system a break.
What happens?
You get sick. You get bloated. Your body probably stops absorbing the nutrients because it's overwhelmed.
Precisely. The argument here is that we are intellectually bloated. We're stuffing ourselves with information constantly, and because of that, our mental metabolism has slowed to a crawl. We've lost the hunger that drives curiosity.
Okay.
So the mission of this deep dive is to explore the concept that turning off the input valve might be the only way to unclog the output valve.
Unclogging the output valve, that is a vivid, if slightly gross, image.
Hey, it is, but it's accurate. But I'm willing to entertain it. I am. If we're going to ask you to consider putting down your books, and yes, even pausing this deep dive eventually, we need a rock-solid case.
We do.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is reading deprivation?
Okay, so the core concept comes from Julia Cameron's seminal book on creativity, The Artist's Way. Now, have you ever done The Artist's Way?
I haven't done the full course, no. I know the big things like morning pages and artist dates, but I've always been a little intimidated by the commitment, to be honest.
It's a big commitment. It's a 12-week course designed to recover your creative self.
Right.
And it involves a lot of introspection, digging up old traumas, dealing with your inner critic. It's heavy emotional lifting.
That sounds like it.
And yet, Cameron notes, and this is backed up by thousands of blogs, forums, and reviews from people who've gone through the program, that the exercise for week 4 is consistently cited as the single most challenging, most dreaded task in the entire 3-month curriculum.
Wait, really? Harder than digging up childhood rejection or facing your fear of failure?
Yes, that's what people say. Week 4 is reading deprivation.
No way.
And people absolutely freak out about it.
I believe it. It's because it strips away the security blanket.
It's the ultimate security blanket. The goal of the week is to silence the inner critic.
Yeah.
But Cameron argues, and this is the key insight, that you cannot silence the critic inside your head if you're constantly feeding it with voices from outside your head.
Okay, so you're importing other people's critics, essentially.
They're importing their thoughts, their opinions, their anxieties. You're never left alone with your own.
Okay, so let's get into the rules, the nitty-gritty. Because when you say deprivation, I'm trying to figure out where the line is. Are we just talking about putting down the heavy novels?
No.
Can I still read the news? Skim the headlines?
Nope.
Can I read the back of a cereal box?
If you're doing this hard mode, which is the way Cameron intends it, the answer is a hard no to all of it.
Walk me through the list. I want our listeners to really feel the weight of this.
Okay. So, no books at all. Fiction or nonfiction, doesn't matter.
Okay.
No newspapers, no magazines, no blogs, no social media, no scrolling through news feeds.
That's a big one right there.
That's the biggest one for most people now. No text messages beyond simple logistics, or see you at 7.
No long conversations over text.
Absolutely not. And no reading emails unless it is strictly, absolutely fire alarm level necessary for your continued employment.
So I can't just check my email to stay on top of things. That's my whole morning routine.
No, that is exactly the behavior this is trying to break, the checking compulsion.
Wow.
But it goes even deeper. There's a detail in the research that actually made me laugh out loud, but then it terrified me because I realized I do it all the time.
Let me guess. This is the shampoo bottle.
We call it the shampoo bottle rule.
I saw this in the notes. This is the part that feels like a personal attack.
It feels personal because it exposes just how deep the addiction goes.
It really does.
Cameron points out that when we're deprived of real reading material, we become desperate for symbols. We are so addicted to the act of processing text that if we don't have a phone or a book, we will read the ingredients on the back of a shampoo bottle while we're in the shower.
Guilty. 100%.
Methyl chlorothiazole. No, we don't know what it is. We don't care what it is, but we read it.
I do this. I absolutely do this. If I forget my phone when I go to the bathroom, I will read the back of the air freshener can.
Yep.
I will read the label on the towel. Why do we do that? It's not like I'm learning anything useful.
It's input addiction. It's a term from the sources. Our brains have become conditioned to constant symbol processing.
Right.
We're uncomfortable with the raw input of just being. We can't just stand in the shower and feel the water and think our thoughts. We have to be decoding something. We have to be fed.
That's a little
distressing.
It is. So the strict definition of reading deprivation is about denying the brain that cheap fodder, that junk food. So it's forcing the brain to go cold turkey on data processing.
Correct. And in a modern context, because obviously the artist's way was written before the iPhone.
Right. The stakes are so much higher now.
Infinitely higher. The sources expand this to media deprivation. So no podcasts.
Ouch. Sorry, everyone.
I know. No talk radio, no TV, no YouTube.
It is essentially silence. Complete silence. No words coming in through the eyes and no words coming in through the ears.
Total silence.
And for how long?
1 week.
7 days.
7 days. I could feel the listener's blood pressure rising. I can feel my blood pressure rising. Why a week? Why not just a weekend? A digital detox weekend sounds lovely. It sounds manageable. A week sounds like a prison sentence.
The duration is the most critical variable here. It's everything. The reasoning is that it takes time to move past the withdrawal phase.
Okay.
If you just do it for a weekend, you spend Friday night and Saturday feeling twitchy, anxious, and bored. You're just suffering.
Right.
You never break through to the other side. You're just in the detox phase without getting any of the rehab benefits.
Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. You need the duration to force the brain to adapt. You have to push past the itch to get to the clarity.
Okay. So that is the what. And it's intense. But now I really want to get into the why. Because asking someone to sit in silence for a week is a massive, massive ask.
It's huge.
Section 2 of our outline calls this the overstuffed closet. I like this.
This is a metaphor found in the source material that I think it perfectly captures the modern condition.
Lay it on me.
Think about our current cultural state. We have become professional consumers of information. We wear it like a badge of honor. Oh, I read 50 books this year. I listened to podcasts at 2x speed so I can get through more of them.
I am so guilty of the 2x speed thing.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Sometimes I catch myself listening to people speak in real life and wishing I could tap a button to speed them up.
Oh, I know.
It's a sickness.
We all have it. We treat information like a commodity to be hoarded. The metaphor is that our brains are like a walk-in closet.
Okay.
But we keep buying new clothes, new facts, new opinions, new hot takes, and we just shove them into the closet. We never take anything out. We never organize it. We never coordinate an outfit.
So it's just a pile.
It's just jammed full of stuff, a giant, messy pile.
So we have all this knowledge, but we can't access it. We can't use it because it's buried under a pile of mental laundry.
Precisely. And the sources discuss this concept of information fatigue.
Yeah.
It's that specific feeling, you know it when you're technically informed. You know the headlines, you know the buzzwords,
Yeah.
but you're exhausted. And crucially, you can't remember the last time you had a truly original thought.
Oof.
Because you're constantly just reacting to others' thoughts.
That is the scary part for me. That right there. The idea that my opinions might just be a collage of the last 5 tweets I read.
It's highly likely.
Yeah.
It is for most of us. When you're constantly consuming, your brain is in receptive mode.
Yeah.
It's passive.
You're just a bucket.
You're a bucket. You're letting someone else drive the car of your consciousness.
Which leads to a point in the psychology section that I really want to challenge you on because it feels wrong.
Okay, let's hear it.
The sources describe reading as a numbing agent.
Yes.
Now, hold on. Numbing. We think of, alcohol or drugs or mindless reality TV as numbing.
Right.
Reading is supposed to be the good habit. It's active. It requires literacy and focus. How is that numbing?
That is the trap. That is exactly why it's so dangerous.
Okay.
Because reading feels virtuous. We don't treat it like an addiction. But look at the function it serves.
Mm-hmm.
When you are feeling anxious about a work project, or you're feeling lonely, or you're just bored and you don't know what to do with yourself, what do?
I pick up my phone or I grab a book.
Right. You exit your own reality and you enter someone else's. You use their words to drown out your own internal state.
Just avoidance.
It is the most socially acceptable, high-minded form of avoidance we have. It's a way to avoid sitting with yourself.
So instead of facing the fact that I'm stressed about a deadline, I just read an article about, I don't know, the geopolitical situation in a country I'll never visit.
Exactly. It's distraction masquerading as productivity.
Wow.
The expert insight from the sources suggests that reading puts thoughts into your head that aren't yours. Deprivation forces you to listen to your own internal dialogue, especially if that dialogue is anxious or messy or critical.
You have to face the music.
You have no choice but to face the music.
There's a specific persona mentioned in the sources that I think a lot of people listening will relate to this one. The constipated creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a hilarious term, but it's so incredibly descriptive.
It's vivid, I'll give him that.
It describes the person who has plenty of ideas, plenty of ambition, impeccable taste. They know what good work looks like. They've consumed all the best stuff.
Right, they're a connoisseur.
But they cannot seem to get their own work on paper. They are blocked, constantly blocked.
They're consuming so much that they can't produce anything.
It's basic physics, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the input valve is wide open, the pressure in the system never builds up enough to force the output valve open. The theory here is that constant input blocks output.
That's like a traffic jam where cars keep entering the highway, so the cars that are already there can never, ever move.
That is a perfect analogy. And without external fuel, without the constant influx of other people's words, other people's ideas, the brain starts to panic.
Okay.
It starves. And a starving brain is a resourceful brain.
Huh.
It starts generating its own sparks out of necessity. It has to. It's an engine designed to create meaning, and if you stop feeding it pre-processed meaning, it starts refining its own.
That brings us to the actual experience then. Let's say someone listening is brave enough, or maybe foolish enough, to try this. Mm-hmm. They lock the bookshelf, they delete the social media apps, they hide the shampoo bottles. Mm-hmm. What actually happens to them? Section 3 is the timeline of the experience. And from our notes, it sounds unpleasant.
Unpleasant is putting it very mildly. The sources describe the first 48 hours, that's phase 1, as psychological warfare.
Psychological warfare.
We're just not reading books here. We're not going to war. That's some dramatic language.
It is, but your brain will treat it like a crisis. The primary symptom you'll experience in phase 1 is the twitch.
The twitch.
You know this feeling. It's that reflexive, physical reaching for a phone, a magazine, a cereal box, anything with words.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even realize you're doing it until you catch your hand in midair, reaching for your pocket.
I have that. I have phantom phone syndrome. I'll feel a vibration in my pocket when my phone is on the table across the room.
That's the dependency. That's the addiction pathway lighting up. It reveals that we aren't just reading for content. We're reading for a dopamine hit.
Right.
We are addicted to the stimulation loop. We post, we check, we read, we get that tiny little hit of chemical reward. When you take that away, the brain goes into withdrawal.
So what does that feel like? People report irritability, anxiety, feeling foggy, and some even report hearing phantom ringing sounds or notification pings.
Oh, that's creepy.
It is. Your brain is manufacturing the stimulus it's craving.
I can just imagine the panic. You're sitting on the couch, maybe you're waiting for your partner to get ready for dinner. Usually that's 5 minutes of prime scrolling time.
Prime scrolling time, yeah.
Without it, 5 minutes feels like an hour. You're just sitting there, existing. What do you do with your hands?
Exactly. And that feeling, that panic, leads directly into phase 2, which usually occurs around day 3 or so, the void.
Void.
Or, more simply, boredom.
The dreaded B word. The thing we've engineered our entire lives to avoid.
We are terrified of boredom in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrified. We've engineered it out of our lives. If you are standing in line at the grocery store for 30 seconds, you pull out your phone, we never just stare into space anymore.
It's true. But the sources have some wild stories about what happens to people in this phase.
Oh, they are hilarious and tragic at the same time.
Yeah.
People will do anything to avoid the void.
Like what?
The sources mention people ending up cleaning their baseboards with a toothbrush.
No.
Yes. Staring at the texture of the paint on the wall for 20 minutes straight. Stretching their hamstrings until they actually hurt.
Cleaning baseboards with a toothbrush sounds like a desperate measure. It's like, I must do something productive with my hands or I will literally scream.
It is desperate. But this is the pivot point. This is the crucial moment. Here's the expert analysis on this from the sources. Boredom is not the enemy.
Okay.
Boredom is the precursor to creativity.
Right. There's a reason you get your best ideas in the shower or on a long drive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's because you can't really do anything else. Your brain is unoccupied.
So the default mode network kicks in.
Precisely. The default mode network, the part of the brain that daydreams and makes those disparate, weird connections, it finally wakes up. When you are constantly processing input, the DMN is suppressed. When you're bored, it lights up like a Christmas tree.
And we never let ourselves get bored anymore. So we never get the creative benefits that come after the boredom peaks.
We short-circuit the process. We feel the first flicker of boredom, and we immediately reach for our phone, killing the creative impulse before it's even born.
So you have to ride out the wave of cleaning the baseboards to get to the good stuff. You have to let it be awful for a while.
Yes. You have to endure the nothingness. Because if you stick with it, if you push through, you hit phase 3. The breakthrough.
The breakthrough. Okay.
This usually happens around day 4 or 5.
And what does that look like? Does the sky open up and a beam of light shines down on you?
Yeah. For some people, it feels like that, yes.
Yeah.
The sources describe a shift from frustration and anxiety to a sudden surge of energy.
Ah.
It's like the fog lifts. People report the return of their inner voice, a clarity of thought they haven't felt in years.
So you start thinking your own thoughts again.
You stop thinking in reactions and you start thinking in assertions. You start generating ideas instead of just commenting on them.
And there was a note about sensory awareness that really caught my eye. This sounds amazing.
This is one of the most beautiful side effects mentioned, I think. Without text to focus on, without that narrow visual tunnel where you're just scanning symbols on a screen,
Yeah.
people become incredibly observant of their physical environment. They notice colors again. They notice how the light hits the floor in the afternoon. They can actually hear the birds outside.
They stop living in the abstract world of words and they start living in the physical world of the senses.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
reconnection.
Yeah.
That sounds almost spiritual, like mindfulness without the medication app telling you to be mindful.
It is. It's a reconnection with the here and now. You aren't in the author's head. You are in your own body, in your own room. And that can be a profound experience.
Okay, that sounds transformative. I'm not going to lie, that sounds incredible.
It does.
But I need to play devil's advocate again.
Yeah.
Because this is the deep dive. Section 4. Benefits versus drawbacks. Because while the breakthrough sounds great, we live in a real world with real demands. Is it actually worth it?
There is a cost. We absolutely shouldn't sugarcoat it. But let's look at the benefits first, just to see if the price is right.
Let's.
The major benefit, the one that comes up again and again, is originality. You move from, and I'm quoting here, outsourcing your thinking to authors, to strengthening your internal reasoning.
I love that phrase, outsourcing your thinking.
Me too. You stop asking, what would Seth Godin think about this marketing problem? And you start thinking, what do I think about this?
That is a crucial distinction. It's about developing what some sources call cognitive confidence.
Yes. Then there's productivity. This one seems counterintuitive, but it makes sense. It combats procrastination.
How so?
If you can't read and you are terminally bored of staring at the wall and cleaning baseboards, you might finally do that big, hairy, audacious project you've been avoiding, because doing the work suddenly becomes more interesting than doing nothing.
That is the constipated creative getting unblocked. Work becomes the path of least resistance. The most interesting thing available?
Right. And finally, mental health. This one's huge. After that initial anxiety spike in the first few days, people report a massive reduction in their baseline anxiety.
A dopamine reset.
A total dopamine reset. It connects to this idea of monk mode, a period of deep focus and low stimulation.
Yeah.
You stop comparing yourself to others because you literally can't see what others are doing.
That alone sounds worth the price of admission.
It really does. But the drawbacks, let's be real about them.
They're significant, and we have to talk about them. The biggest one is isolation.
Right.
We live in an information economy. Being uninformed, even for a week, can feel socially isolating.
Oh, for sure.
If everyone at work is talking about the latest viral article or the big news story of the day, and you literally cannot read it, you are on the outside.
You're the person at the dinner party who just smiles and nods and has no idea what the name of the week is.
Right. And for some people, that social currency is vital for their job or just for their social life. Then there's the issue of practicality.
This is the big one for me.
Let's be honest. Modern work often requires reading. If you're a lawyer, you can't just stop reading contracts for a week.
Not going to happen.
If you're a coder, you can't stop reading documentation. You have to modify this for your reality.
And I noticed a very specific and very important note in the sources about neurodivergence. This is critical.
Yes, this is crucial. We have to be so careful not to present this as some universal cure-all.
Absolutely.
For some neurodivergent individuals, people with ADHD or on the autism spectrum, for instance, reading isn't just a hobby. It's a regulation tool.
It's a way to manage the noise of the world, a way to focus.
Exactly. It can be a form of stimming or a way to regulate dopamine levels in a brain that struggles with that. For these listeners, total deprivation might cause significant mental health dips.
So severe anxiety, deregulation?
Right. It could be actively harmful rather than bringing the clarity that others experience.
That's a really important nuance. This is not about suffering for suffering's sake. If it deregulates you to a dangerous point, it is not the right tool for you.
Exactly. It's meant to be a challenge, not a trauma. You have to know your own brain and be honest with yourself.
So let's say a listener is intrigued. They hear this and they think, okay, I want that system reset. But they have a job, they have kids, they can't go full monk mode for a week.
Which is most people.
Right. Section 5. How do we actually do this? What are the practical strategies?
The sources offer several implementation strategies, which is great. You don't have to go hard mode immediately. You can start with something called the low information diet, a concept that was popularized by Tim Ferriss.
I remember reading about that years ago. How does it differ from full deprivation?
It's about being selective. It distinguishes between deprivation, which sounds negative and punitive, and fasting, which is framed as an intentional health choice.
I like that framing.
You cut the junk food, no social media, no clickbait news sites, no endless scrolling through headlines, but you might keep the nutrient reading.
So like deep work reading, philosophy, things that actually matter.
Right, the things that require slow, focused thought.
But Julia Cameron would argue against that, wouldn't she?
Oh, she would. She's a purist on this. She believes you need to cut it all, even the good stuff, to really truly face yourself. In her view, even Plato is still a voice that isn't yours.
That's hardcore.
It is. But for a practical listener, the low information diet is a great first step.
What are the other alternatives to the full 7-day ordeal?
A really popular one is the weekend trial. 48 hours. You start Friday night, you end Sunday night.
That feels doable. That feels like something I could actually try.
It's enough to feel the twitch. You'll realize just how addicted you are, I promise you that.
Oh, I believe it.
You might not get the full sensory breakthrough, that phase 3 experience, but you will absolutely break the habit loop and gain some awareness.
Another one I liked from the notes was reading windows.
Yes. This is for the people who absolutely have to read for work. You treat reading like a meal, not like snacking all day.
I love that analogy.
You allow yourself to read, but only for, say, a specific 60-minute window each day. And it has to be focused. 0 passive scrolling.
So you sit down, you do your work reading, you close the book or the laptop, and that's it. No more for the day.
No more. We are all essentially grazing on information junk food all day long, and this puts a stop to it.
That's powerful.
But here's the key part of this section I don't want to gloss over. You can't just remove the reading and then sit on the couch staring into space, right?
You can't just create a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum.
Correct. The sources emphasize that you must replace the input with output or with active pursuits.
So what should we be doing instead of reading? If I'm bored on a Tuesday night and I can't watch TV or read a book, what on earth do I do?
You produce. You create. Writing is the big recommendation. Cameron advocates for her morning pages, 3 pages of stream of consciousness, long handwriting every single morning.
So you can write, you just can't read what you wrote or read anything else.
Ideally, yes, for that week. You just get it out. You dump the contents of your brain onto the page without judgment.
Okay. What else?
But other suggestions include walking or cycling activities that get the body moving and the mind wandering, meditation and stretching, and maybe most importantly, talking face-to-face with people.
Face-to-face conversation, that's a novel concept in the age of text messages.
It is. Real-time connection. And surprisingly, a lot of sources mention domestic tasks.
Like cleaning the baseboards.
Yes. But also cooking a meal from scratch, gardening, repairing something that's broken.
Things that involve your hands, things that are tangible.
Yes. It sounds like returning to a simpler, more analog version of life. It's about engaging with the world directly, not through a screen. If you bake a loaf of bread, you've created something real. You can smell it, touch it, eat it. That is a very different feedback loop from reading a tweet about bread.
No question. This brings us to the deep analysis, the listener's real takeaway. Why does this matter? Is this just another productivity hack? Is it just a way to get more work done? Or is there something deeper going on here?
I think if you view this as just a productivity hack, you're missing about 90% of the point.
Okay.
This is about reclaiming your autonomy.
Autonomy over your own mind.
Yes. We talk a lot about freedom of speech. We rarely talk about freedom of attention.
Wow.
If you cannot sit alone in a room for 30 minutes without reflexively reaching for a device, are you free? Or are you a servant to the algorithm?
That hits hard. We are servants to the notification.
The goal isn't to stop reading forever. That would be a tragedy. We love books. The goal is to read with intent.
Moving from passive consumption to active engagement?
Yes. We need to learn to recognize the difference between a dopamine trap, which is what most scrolling is, and cognitive nutrition.
Dopamine trap versus cognitive nutrition. I like that.
When you finish this experiment, you don't go back to reading the cereal box. You go back to reading the things that truly nourish your mind and soul.
It forces you to ask why before you consume.
Exactly. Before you pick up your phone, you ask, am I doing this intentionally? Am I creatively blocked? Am I overwhelmed? Or am I just scrolling because I'm afraid of being alone with my own thoughts for 5 minutes?
Who are you when you aren't being told what to think? That is the question the experiment is really posing.
And that is a scary question, maybe the scariest question there is. But answering it is the only way to build a truly authentic self.
This has been a fascinating, and I'll admit, a slightly convicting deep dive for me. I feel like I need to apologize to my own brain for how much noise I shove into it every day.
I think we all do.
So to recap for everyone listening, the proposition on the table is a week without words, no books, no screens, no labels on air freshener cans, just you, your thoughts, and the world around you.
It will be uncomfortable. It will be boring. You will probably hate us by day 2.
Probably.
And it might just be the creative breakthrough you have been desperately looking for.
I want to leave you with a final provocative thought from the source material that really stuck with me. The quote is, "You are much louder than you thought."
That is the crux of it right there.
What does that mean for you listening right now? What thoughts, what ideas, what quiet little dreams are currently being drowned out by your favorite podcast? Yes, even this one, or your favorite book.
If you never turn down the volume of the world, you will never hear the music of your own mind.
So here is the challenge. You don't have to commit to a full week right now. That's a huge ask. But maybe, just for tonight, don't look at a screen after this. Don't open a book. Stare at a wall. Write in a journal. Just sit in the silence and see what happens.
You might be very surprised by who you meet in the quiet.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you, or maybe we won't, if you're taking the challenge. That's next time.